Good afternoon. Welcome to Hancock Church to our annual Bell concert. It's so nice to see so many people here. This is our second concert this weekend, and on Friday we had 94 people here, which was amazing for a Friday morning concert. And then I got to worrying. I said, well, who else is left to come to our concert? And I just thought, no one's going to come. This is what musicians think like. But here you all are, so I'm so happy to see you. I'm Marilyn Becker. I am the director of Handbell Ministries. And to explain my title there, I could just be the conductor of the Handbell group. We really consider our Handbell program a ministry of the church in that we exist to serve Hancock Church and to serve the community, to bring joy and happiness and fun. So I'm so glad you're here, and you give as much to us as we give to you. We're starting with the Carol of the Bells, and I don't think you can turn the TV on or walk in the mall without hearing this piece, right? It is ubiquitous everywhere. The funny thing was, it was written based on a Ukrainian folk song, nothing to do with Christmas, nothing to do with bells. It was a springtime carol. And then in the mid-20th century, an American of Ukrainian descent decided to write English words for it and called it started Hark How the Bells, Sweet Silver Bells, and then somehow its name then changed to be Carol of the Bells. So, Carol of the Bells. My favorite version of that is the one with the Hershey's Kisses playing bells. We're next moving to a tune that is originally from England, but it had other words added to it, and it's a little unknown where it all originated to. we sing it to "I saw three ships come sailing in," and where they're sailing it says, and has the Virgin Mary and her son on them. So you guys know that they're coming to Bethlehem. Bethlehem has no water. So I don't know where these boats thought they were going to go and who saw them to write a song about them, but that's what we're singing about. Some people think, they're kind of boring people, think, no, actually it was the three wise men. They're talking about their camels, the three camels. So I guess we can go along with that, but I like the idea of like those boats that they had out in the Midwest on the prairies, the wagons with, that's what I imagine they are. So we have two ensembles that rehearse here at Hancock Church. You've just heard the Carillon, and next we're going to have Morning Glories. And every other year, we go and participate in a festival that we get together with other handbell choirs from the New England area. So sometimes there's 600 of us in a hockey rink all playing together, which is a treat. One of the nice things is that they pick all the music. I don't have to figure it out. And the nice side benefit is that sometimes we learn something that we didn't know before. The next piece is one of those songs. This was picked by the festival conference for next summer, and it's a carol or a Christmas song from Singapore, of all places. And it translates, it's time for sayang, 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 sayang is loving. So it's time for loving, and this is something that is popular to be played in the malls in Singapore at Christmas time. So in pop music, there's something called a mashup, where you put more than one song together happening kind of at the same time. And if you're an elementary school music teacher, you have the same concept. You call it a partner song, where you sort of figure out that two different songs can fit together. So you teach one group of kids one, the other one the other, and then try to have them keep their parts and not get confused. This next piece is a version of that. It says, Night of the Father's Love, and it's a mashup of the Father's Love Begotten, which is an old plain song tune, and Silent Night. So very different tunes, different traditions, different ages, but I think you'll enjoy how you hear them come together. So they first kind of alternate. You hear a little bit of one, a little bit of another, and at some point, they both happen at the same time. So listen for that. So now we're going to Puerto Rico. We're following those same wise men, but we ended up in Puerto Rico somehow. Those ships kept going, right? So this is a carol of Puerto Rican background that was written by an American composer to introduce Caribbean rhythms to her elementary school students. So we're really going all over the place here. It has some Latin rhythms. If you know the opera Carmen, one of the famous pieces in there is the habanera. This opens with the habanera rhythm in the bottom. When these bells come in, they are singing the wise men's name. They're going, I always forget them all. Casper, Melchior, King Balthazar. So that's their part. Every time they come in, you get the three wise men, okay? So we're back to the British Isles with an Irish tune that has lyrics that were probably English. It was older than when it was first written down. So it was written down in the 19th century, and it was a church musician who heard a traditional musician, probably in a pub, didn't want to say that, but probably there, one single singer just singing this tune, and he thought, wow, I love that tune. Let me get my music paper out and write down just what I just heard. So you're going to hear that in our piece. We're going to start with just the single line of the tune. For the whole page, it's just one line, one person singing. Then we're going to start to accompany it, and at some point, we start to sound like church bells. So listen for that. At one point, you're like, oh, definitely, that's just like the drone of a set of church bells. So did you hear the tower bells at the end of that? Yeah. Our instrument, the handbell choir, actually comes from tower bells. So if you go in England mostly, but even downtown Boston, there are some churches who have sets of tower bells. They usually have 8 bells. They're big, and you ring them by pulling a big rope down. And you can imagine that practicing those makes you not too popular with your neighbors. So churches had small replicas made of those 8 bells so that people could practice all the little things they were doing. So at some point, somebody said, hey, let's add a few bells on. Maybe we can play some tunes. It'd be more fun. So they did that. And then it kept going to what you see now. It's just this nonstop. We keep adding a little more to the top, a little more to the bottom. But we're going to go back a little bit to the roots of this, and we're going to play something that is arranged for only 12 bells. And we can do it, in this case, we're going to do it with 5 people. Most of us will have a bell in each hand, and our top ringer is going to have 2 bells in each hand. So we're going to do a little arrangement of Away in the Manger for 12 bells. So our next piece is based on a French Noel. And a Noel is nothing fancy, it's just the French word for carol. So it's the same thing. It's a Christmas song that's mostly has some secular overtones to it, not a church piece necessarily, but we really blur them. Of course, you know the famous first Noel, which is not really the first Noel, but you know the word from there. So this is a two-part composition based on this French carol, and you're going to hear another piece at the end of our program based on the same carol. It's a completely different piece of music, but you'll hear the same tune in here. Our first part has the statement of the whole song. It's a pretty short song, but the whole thing is in there. Then we get to the middle section where we're going to play with it a little bit. We're going to do things with just little parts of it. A little part here, a little part there, weaving them all together. So listen for those little parts. Thank you so much. So that's another piece that was picked for us by our festival conference. And later in this program, we're going to play another version of the tune that is one of our favorite pieces. So when we saw this thing on the list, we were like, oh, I don't know if we can love another piece that's on the same. That would be disloyal to our favorite. But I have to say, this is a close second here of favoritism. Deck the Halls. I know you all know Deck the Halls. You know what it means, right? We're putting logs out to burn and nice things. But I want to read you the original first verse, okay? Oh, how soft my fair one's bosom. Fa la 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 la. Oh, how sweet the grove in blossom. Fa la 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 la. Oh, how blessed are the blisses. Words of love and mutual kisses. A little different meaning, hey? Thank you. This is our last piece. I can't believe how fast this program goes once we start running it. While we're sitting here, there have been people outside getting ready with some cookies and cocoa. And if anyone wants to sing carols, there's going to be someone out there in charge of that. Not me. Yes. Thank you so much for coming to visit us today. If you love music, this is the place to be. A couple things to let you know. Next Sunday at our Sunday morning church service is Celtic Sunday. So we have Celtic musicians here, and it's a wonderful service. On Christmas Eve, we have 3 services at 5, 8, and 11, each one with completely different music. So you can find something that you love at any one. So we'd love to see you again. Merry Christmas. Don't have an encore because that would be our encore if we had one. That's our favorite all time. So, as I say, there's carols and cookies and cocoa out on the front lawn. Thank you again for coming.